I want to talk a little bit about the taper of a fly line. In the old days, we used level fly lines. A level fly line literally started out as a piece of braided silk. Later, they were made out of plastic. But what happens with a level fly line is it goes through the air really good, but near the end of the fly line, as it's rolling out, there's no energy dissipation. It doesn't soften up or slow down. So those lines used to crash and hit the water pretty hard. You could mess with your leader design and all that other stuff to try and mitigate that, to try and soften that. But what was really an evolutionary leap in fly line technology was when silk fly lines became tapered. Well, nowadays with modern plastics, the tapers are almost infinite. But in general, I want you to remember a couple things. It's real simple. If a fly line has a shorter taper on the front and it finishes thicker, that means that fly line is going to be more aggressive. That's the line you want when you're trying to throw something the size of a chicken or a big bass bug, or maybe for trout fishing if you're throwing a big indicator, which is a bobber, or maybe a big grasshopper pattern. Those air-resistant or heavier flies will work better, will turn over better when you have a thicker fly line tip. Now the opposite, if your fly line has a longer taper and or a thinner tip diameter, those lines tend to be more delicate. The energy rolling through the air, instead of kicking over, the end of the fly line struggles a bit to try and straighten out. In that situation, those are the lines that are going to actually dissipate energy, slow down, and land softer. So if you have a fly line that you want to throw really small flies in a quiet section of a river or lake, then you're going to want a fly line that has a thinner tip diameter and perhaps more taper. Okay? Now, if you want a fly line that can kind of throw a big fly sometimes and a real delicate fly the other times, guess what? You're going to be in the middle somewhere. And most of the airflow trout lines have a modest amount of taper and have a medium tip diameter. That means it'll work pretty good for dry fly fishing. It'll work good chucking a bugger. So you can adjust your fly line then by changes in the leader section. So just remember those two things about the taper of a fly line, and who knows, maybe you'll get the right line on the first try.